Hello my friend, and welcome back to another replay cast from the ladder. We've got JYJ here spawning in the top left and Best down in the bottom left. This is not a very recent replay. Usually I put out the most recent replays that I can find, but this is recommended to me by Dude Nerd. He's given me a lot of great games, so decided to go with it. We are on Good Night, which is a map that I haven't seen for quite some time, but it was in the ladder pool not too long ago. I think this is a map that maybe deserves a second chance. Maybe this needs to come back again in the future. I think it was a pretty fun map and gave us some interesting games. As you can see, double gas base here with just a few mineral patches. This is on high ground in the center of the map. You've got these little outposts here, these little bases ringing the map with the gas, and the kind of large space ramp here, which is pretty hard to block with things like a single lurker egg. You can't actually block that perfectly. Same thing with your main base as well. So it's just a little bit of a different take on kind of reminds me of like a circuit breakers, like a smaller circuit breakers is what I would say. With this kind of weird middle as well, middle area. And this actually ended up playing a lot of part in these games, is this area right here where you're taking your third base. You've got this little choke here, high ground and high ground there, which kind of interesting. I think you can block this with a supply depot, but we've seen a lot of games with, you know, some interesting difficulties with that little area right there. You don't really see that very often. Maps having like a high ground like this and just a tiny little gap there. Kind of funny. We've got Best here scouting out what JYJ is doing. Both players have been going for absolutely standard builds here to start things off. That's why I haven't really talked about it too much. Just factory, and we're gonna get some Dragoons out here. Skipping over that Zealot, but not getting punished for it. No eBay here at the front to block the natural, the throwdown of that Nexus here. Instead, JYJ just gonna get a few Marines out here at the front. He's gonna get his factory going here, and it should be a Vulture expand out of him. We'll see if he goes for a tank, though. That's also a possibility. If you go for a tank, you probably don't even have to build a bunker here, since he's being so passive with this Dragoon. You know, he's not sending it out on the map. It's clear that he wants to tank up pretty hard after this. Best gonna get his robo right away with another Dragoon coming out here shortly. Let's see if he goes for another gateway, or does he want to get a super quick third? Could be a little risky, but if he wants to play absolutely standard, a second gateway here, just keep pumping Dragoons, get into your observers, and then you can take a third base very safely. And no matter what kind of one factory play might be coming out of JYJ here, you're not really going to be too scared of it. Any Marine tank push or anything should be held off with a relative ease, as long as you've got two gateways building Dragoons here in the main base. First SCVs coming across the map. We're going to transfer our probes and SCVs. Everything looking stock standard here thus far, but a robo is going to come down now. So skipping past that observatory, immediate robo with the shuttle, and after that Reavers should be coming. JYJ going to push across the map. He's been given a lot of space here by Best, who's just sitting right in his natural, and he's not building any goons right now. So only 3 Dragoons are here, which is not the best number. It's not the number that you really want. Oh, there's some sort of weird rally here. Probes keep rallying to the front right now. Not sure what that's all about. But this is not the good number that you want to be able to hold off a tank push like that. If you have 4, you can actually two-shot these tanks, but with only 3, this is going to be a little bit tough, and we might end up seeing even a bunker get thrown down here at the front. Some mines being put out. Probes are going to be pulled. Looks like he will be able to kill that. Oh my god, what the heck was that? I thought that Mine was gonna explode there, but it actually doesn't connect. That's pretty funny. 2 tanks here, 3 Marines. We don't have anything to build a... a bunker here, so this Reaver should be able to take care of things. He pushes everything back with the Reaver. And JYJ just gonna sit out in the front, lay down some mines, keep the pressure on. As long as he's got the pressure on here, that Reaver's not gonna be able to head over towards his base. So he's buying some time right now by keeping this army right out in the front. He's buying the time to get these turrets down. With these 2 turrets and a few mines out here, he's going to be completely safe. So JYJ doing an excellent job this game thus far. He's going to poke in, just make sure the Reaver's there. If the Reaver's there, no need to go in any further. He's just going to back away. And now that he's got the defenses set up here back at home, he's going to feel safe to relieve this pressure. He's going to feel safe to move away from the position out in the front and allow the Reaver to go back out on the map. So everything going pretty good so far for JYJ, I would say. That push was reasonable. He killed 1 Dragoon. He almost got the big mine connection that would have killed, you know, a ton of probes, but he didn't get that. That's fine. He pushed the probes away from mining for quite some time, and he didn't lose too much. He didn't lose any tanks. So he's going to be feeling very, very nice. With the second factory finishing up here, he should have an armory. There it is. Armory with that upgrade on the way. Just need to keep our supply depots rolling here and get into a few more factories before pushing out in order to take our 3rd base. Dragoons making the way to the front. Tank number pretty low here. We've got some good defenses. It's very difficult to get in here, but there's a potential to bulldog this position. Although I don't know if we have the idea for that here just yet. Looks like some vultures gonna slip by, but a Reaver in position will force those away. Did we lose a Dragoon out on the map? It feels like we lost a couple of Dragoons just now. No, they're all over here. Never mind. Just 1 Dragoon clearing out mines. And the probe gonna come down and grab that 3rd base. So we've delayed this pretty significantly here. JYJ's done a great job. Should be getting into, yeah, his science facility so that he can immediately start that next upgrade. He's even going to go double armory here, so really leaning into the upgrades this game. He knows he has the advantage right now, just wants to keep it best. Taking some hits on those Reavers. Is going to have to back up for now. I think it was this one that actually got hit, so not losing any hull, just taking that shield damage. That's gonna back off for now. He does want to get his next base going here, I think, relatively soon. The 3rd base and then the 4th base soon after, as he really adds on his gateway count. Only on 4 gates right now. 4 gates to 4 factories is not really a good number. You want to go at least, you know, 2-3 more gates than the enemy has factories. Here we go. 3 more gateways are going to come up right away. 4, in fact. Going to be thrown down by Best now as he transfers the probes. This is a pretty dangerous location right here. You really do want to add some pylons here and here to make sure that vultures can't come in and ravage this location. Vultures heading around the side of the map. Best's going to react pretty quickly, but it's important that he gets some more defenses at this location because he can't always react perfectly against this type of thing. Eventually, vultures are going to swing around and get in, deal a lot of damage if you're not really careful with your pylon positioning and also having enough cannons here. Like 2-3 cannons should be enough. Just 1, you're going to lose a lot of probes before it can actually pick that off. Coming up on the high ground now, looks like another mine going to be picked off. Nicely done. Best clearing that without the observer. Will be dropping his 4th base here soon. 2-3 vultures. See, look at this coming through that little area. Was talking about it earlier, and a drop coming through as well. Drop going to head towards the main base right as the probes are going down here in the 3rd. Quite a few probes end up going down in the main base as well. Looks like 2-3 probes at least got picked off of this gas geyser. Everything's been cleaned up over here, but the probes still have not gone back to work. Best being a little bit slow with his control here. Really needs to get these up and mining right away. Every moment that goes by that this is not mining is a big loss here for Best. There we go. He does finally get it back to mining. And he did a relatively good job of cleaning it up. Having the cannon here in the main base does help out a huge amount. That's an Artosis pylon if I've ever seen one before. 2 Reavers here at the front will need to be picked up before the tanks get their shots. 1 Reaver does go down. Bit of a frustrating loss there for Best, who would like to delay this push as much as possible. But 11:30, we're going to be taking this base. That's still a pretty good time for JYJ. I want to be taking it around 11 minutes. But he's done some harassment. You know, he's gotten out there, slowed down the Protoss a little bit. So taking this a little bit slower, a little bit safer is totally fine. Gonna lose 1 tank for taking this base. Another shot on another tank. He may be able to get 1 more shot. Very nicely done, picking off that again. These Protoss players able to drop between the shots from the tank. Really always impressive to me how they're able to dodge those. Just about getting a 3rd tank as well, but 2 tanks is good enough. Killing off those 2 tanks is pretty huge, and we're gonna come forward with the first Arbiter here. Oh my goodness, what a mine connection there. Just wiping out a ton of Zealots. Absolutely unreal. That completely stopped this attack. Whatever mine was right there, maybe 2 mines. A lot of the time, mines will explode and kill the other mines, so then they don't all deal damage. But I think that was the one of those cases where, you know, 2, 3 mines all exploded at the same time, and they just, every single one of them dealt damage. He lost like 6, maybe 8 Zealots just in 1 second, and that completely changes the course of this battle. Wow, threading the needle right now. Best gonna fly into the back of this main base and get a recall off on top maybe of these armories here. No, it's just gonna go all the way around now, coming on top of this mineral line here. Big recall on this mineral line, doing a ton of damage, even bringing the Reaver along as well. So a very deadly recall here. Gonna be dealing huge damage. Maybe able to pick off the command center as well. Command center likely to go down. Bringing everything back is JYJ, but this is so painful. JYJ, you know what? He's done such an excellent job thus far. Look at all the turrets he built to stop this from happening. And Best threaded the needle here. He went right through this tiny little corridor that JYJ left open. He found the one weakness in the defense, and he's punished it brutally here. We've got a few vultures moving out on the map right now. They're gonna try and get something done. Maybe they can harass this base. There's still only 1 cannon here. Maybe they can get over here and harass this base. I'm not sure though. There's still damage going down in the main base for JYJ, and no, oh god, the scan is a bit late. Scan being a bit late is very painful. He's gonna have to target onto the Dragoons. He does a great job targeting his tanks on the Dragoons. They're not allowing Zealots to pull that splash damage onto his units, but a lot of these tanks are very low. Look at how quickly they go down. 2 tanks fall in just 2 Dragoon hits. So painful for JYJ here, who's been massively slowed down. He doesn't have that main base anymore. He's just mining off of 2. And he's gonna have to try and make this push work now or never. It has to happen now. Best is just building up. He's buying his time here, biding his time, waiting for a little bit more army so that he can eventually break this. The position is pretty good right now for JYJ. Oh, big recall on top of the army. Doing a ton of damage here, pulling some mines on top of this army as well. Very good clearing going on right now for Best. Looks like he may just barely be able to stop this. Sorry guys, my throat right now, if you can tell, it's a little bit rough. We've got some Zealots dropped on top of these last 2 tanks. If he picks these off, I think we can safely say that this has been held. One more hit on that tank. Oh my god, he's just barely not able to get that. Really would have changed the math here if he would have killed that tank. Now he's brought down one more Reaver, clearing out some of these vultures. The Nexus is taking damage, but a great stasis there. Stasis getting rid of those 2 tanks for now. More reinforcements are coming up, but it looks like Best just barely going to be able to hold on for now. Has more reinforcements making their way to the front here. The Arbiter, the difference maker here in this last battle. Reaver gets dropped but picked up again in just a second as those mines start to trigger. Another shot from the Reaver. One more hit. He does get it. He gets that one last hit. This Reaver is so incredibly low. So incredibly low on HP, but it's still managing to hang in there and just barely. Somehow Best is holding on. JYJ putting on mounds and mounds of pressure. Heaps of pressure here from JYJ. But the cannons finish up here and he's just barely going to hold once again. Still that Reaver in the shuttle. Just insane value out of that unit in these really scrappy situations. It's been absolutely the saving grace here. Arbiter, very, very low as well. Might be able to get one last spell. No, does end up going down. The Reaver here on high ground. How many kills? 14 kills. Will finally be picked off. But I think it's done its job. Best has held on, albeit barely, to all these attacks. Against all of these attacks of JYJ, all the tactics here of JYJ have failed. And I think now with this Reaver counterattack, JYJ is going to be pushed out of this game. GG. Best sticking around to watch those Scarabs connect there. What an incredible first game from these two players. JYJ really doing a fantastic job getting himself into this position, or into a good position, but just not having the turrets. Best threading the needle, getting that amazing recall, and then barely hanging on. I mean, just imagine if that recall hadn't gone through, how powerful this attack from JYJ would have been. I doubt that Best would have been able to hold on. Even if he had a couple of extra stasis with that Arbiter, I doubt he would have been able to stop this. But really a clutch game from Best, able to take it back, able to get the recall and win over JYJ. Let's jump into game number 2. Here we go in our second game between Best and JYJ. Now here on Largo, another great map that has since been taken out of the pool. Was a fun one though. Not sure if you guys remember it. Let's go ahead and take a look. Quite an interesting central area to this map. You know, the high grounds reaching out towards these third bases that are in a similar position. 12, 3, 9, and 2. No, 12, 3, 6, and 9, sorry. The real difficulty here I found on this map was taking that third base, and it's not very worthwhile. You don't get a gas geyser for this. Let's look at Terran's side of the map, because that's what I'm talking about. You know, I take this base here, and we're going to stretch out. And we're going to stretch out in a big way all the way across this. Of course, this is unbuildable terrain, so you can't put turrets here. And then you're going to take this base right here. I believe this is high ground, low ground right there. Yeah, for sure. High ground, low ground. So you're basically going to spread way out here. And if you put, you know, too much back this direction over here, then the Protoss opponent will come from the high ground here and just break through onto your third base. And if you put way too much over here to defend this area, then they might do a counterattack and run right into your naturals. So it's very delicate. You have to kind of put most of your army here, and this is where you can't build turrets. So that's quite frustrating for Terran. I'm a little bit happy that this map is out of the map pool, even though I'm not a Terran player. It is a bit frustrating when the Terran player just can't really take their third base. It's so hard to do. And I mean, if you want to take another third, if you want to take your third, say down here, it's like even worse, right? You got to come around. And let me look again here. If you want to take your third, instead of taking it here, If you wanted to say take your third base here, you you have to hold here, right? Of course, your natural. And you have to hold this ramp here, and then you also have to be on this high ground holding here. So it's pretty difficult to get a third base on this map. We'll see what strategies JYJ implements here to find a way to get an advantage in this game, to actually take a third. Or does he want to just skip over that completely and go for some sort of two-base timing? A lot of these maps where it's difficult to take a third, that just becomes the complete standard. Going for a two-base massive timing and then maybe try to take that third behind what you're doing as you're attacking, as you're putting the big pressure on the Protoss. Then you take your third behind that and just kind of macro from there. If you don't do huge damage, it's usually pretty rough. But if you get some good damage going and you have that third base up and rolling, you can make it a really good game. So enough talking about this map. We've got pretty much mirrored builds here as to what we had in the last game. Again, one single factory into a command center. And skipping over the Zealot here for best, going right on into a Dragoon with that Nexus on the way. No block here once again for the Terran. No engineering bay thrown down. And he's just going to get his CC out at about the same time as the Nexus is coming down. Robo on the way off of one gate. Exactly the same build here from Brest. Let's see if he skips Observer and goes straight into Reaver once again. It saved him in that last game. It really did help him out a ton that he had that out when he did, as soon as he did. Because otherwise he would have been in some trouble, maybe potentially losing that Nexus. But yeah, I think we'll probably go for that again. I doubt that he wants to go 2-gate this time. What do we have here? Gateway? Okay, never mind. 2-gate it is. So instead, in this position with the 2-gate here, he's going to throw down an observatory. He'll start to pump out observers and just get as many Dragoons as he can to make sure that he has those numbers to where he can actually hold off any sort of push that may be coming. But on the other side, JYJ, he's not doing that. This time he's throwing down the bunker, right? Last time he didn't have the bunker. He kept producing Marines instead. And he went for that 2-tank push. This time, no tanks are being produced here. He's instead going for a dropship. And this is a great play. This is a great understanding here from JYJ. He's recognized that best is not putting on any pressure. And when you don't have any pressure on you as the Terran player in the early game, there's no reason to build tanks. There's no reason to get siege mode. You have map control. You can throw down mines all over the place, and he's even going to go for a drop here. So maybe try to put some damage onto best early game and make things a little easier for himself when he tries to take this third base. If he can kill a few probes, slow best down a bit, it's going to make it that much easier for him as time goes on here. Ringing the base with pylons is best. Making sure he's got plenty of vision here. No way you're going to be able to sneak in with a dropship, but maybe he can get in with that drop and deal some damage while we've got, you know, the Dragoons out here on the map with that first observer trying to clear these mines. Now coming in to this natural, here we go. 2 into the natural, 2 into the main. Standard as standard gets here. JYJ gonna try and deal as much damage as possible, and he's gonna get a buttload of damage here, killing off like 4 or 5 probes. It's now about 6, 7 probes maybe total. Really, really good stuff here for from our Terran player. Excellent, excellent work. Looks like gonna take some damage here at the front, but a tank is already out, and if he lifts this off, he should be able to get out there. Nice job pulling back that tank, keeping the barracks on the ground there. Really helped him out. Able to get 1 Dragoon kill, and now with the siege mode, oh, he's gonna dive right on top of that. He actually gets the tank, so unfortunate for JYJ. He should have sieged just a little bit farther back. Oh god, it might happen again here. Oh, can he get it? 1 more shot. He does finish off that second tank. big kills here for Best. You really need to siege up your tank a little bit farther back here. But JYJ being a tiny bit greedy, trying to siege his tanks up too close. And Best completely taking advantage of that, just flooding the map with Dragoons right now and dealing so much damage to this bunker. This time he should fall back a little bit further. No, again gonna lose a tank. Oh my god, this is bad. This is very bad right now for JYJ. More and more Dragoons are arriving here. He can start to focus down some of these SCVs now. Start to kill the SCVs, and when you don't have SCVs here to keep repairing this bunker, he's got more Dragoons than there are SCVs on this right now. He's gonna have to lift off. Oh, he's gonna pull the mine into some of these SCVs. Runs forward, guns down the barracks here. Best just going to town now on these SCVs. There's no tank. There's the tank now on the ramp, but it should be shot down here. A great tank shot there to actually kill 2 tanks at the same time, trying to get these last final shots on this tank. It's so close to going down, but it looks like the SCVs have held the line just barely well enough. No, getting on top of this, he finally does kill that tank once again. A lot of vultures being produced, tanks being produced as well, but a Reaver makes its way up to the front here. Best cracking through. He took some serious damage earlier from all of the vulture droppage, but this mine gonna connect. Oh my god, another tank goes down. How many have we lost thus far? We've lost them all. All the tanks have been killed. Wow, an amazing shot there on those SCVs as well. Absolute insanity in this game. It's like Best just does not let up. He's not going to let JYJ recover here. More and more damage coming down from this Reaver. I'd love to see how many kills this has. It finally does get picked up with just about 0 HP here. Can go for the main mineral line though, as the tanks push those Dragoons away. I think JYJ just barely going to stabilize. However, his SCV count is horrid now. Absolutely horrible. And you can see how quickly this kind of snowballs out of control. Had he placed his tank here initially with the bunker right there, I think he can still hit the Dragoons. Maybe. Actually, I'm not sure if he can hit the Dragoons there. But you have to place it back far enough back. You have to place it far enough back so that it can't be just sniped over the wall. Another vulture drop here going on in the main. He's going to try and recoup some of these losses, or at least stabilize the game a little bit further here by killing off a few more probes. Looks like you're gonna get 5, maybe 6 probes total. Not good enough. 53 probes to 32. The natural and third base are mining away happily here, whereas JYJ barely saturated at this point. 34 probes. You need like 20 SCVs per base, or 20 probes per base. All right, this is perfect for Best. He's got 60 probes on 3 bases, 20 per. That's plenty for what he needs to do here. He's gonna lose a few more. Oh, great mine connection. They're actually getting a couple of probes as well. But I still feel like it's just not enough. Here comes the Reavers once again to start to harass here in the main base. Does get a big shot there on that Reaver. But now that the tank's been cleaned out, it's going to be very hard to push away the Reavers here. Let's get a good shot there with the tank. +1 is done, and we've got the science facility. So JYJ doing the right things here. He's just so far behind at this point. Look at that, 40 supply behind his opponent. How are you ever to recover from this position? Protoss can just take the entirety of the map. They can just start expanding absolutely everywhere and make it infinitely difficult for the Terran player to make any sort of comeback. A couple of Reavers here at the front as well. That's so frustrating to deal with. Maybe building a Wraith at this point might be a good idea, although you're just so strapped for money. How can you possibly afford to buy anything at this point? How can you possibly afford to buy a Wraith right now? It seems crazy. 40 SCVs finally have been amassed here for JYJ. He's going to come in and try to get a couple more probes, but this is starting to look very futile here. Best is just light years ahead with 64 probes. Now he should be getting this next base up in just a few moments. And what I was talking about earlier is going to come into play here. The difficulty of taking this next base cannot be understated. It is so hard to get out here and take this. And with your Protoss opponent already being ahead, how are you going to be able to spread out here and take this base? It might be doable if there were some, you know, turret spots. If this was a little bit bigger, you know, these little holes in the rocks were a bit bigger, maybe you could build a turret or two in here. It might be a little bit more doable, but as it stands, it's going to be so difficult to move out here to take a position. Best doing a great job of juggling these Reavers. Another observer going to go down, though. Picking up the observers is crucial. It's key. Vultures slipping out on the map once again. Does need to repair some of these tanks. Tanks still siege up in the main base as well. It's time to bring these forward. Get the turret ring going. And bring tanks, because we need to get every single tank we have. Every single tank needs to be at the front line here. Ooh, gonna shoot down the robo, or excuse me, the shuttle. Okay, that's not gonna connect, is it? No, don't think so. Does dud. Almost gets that shuttle. 5 HP on that. That's so rough. Really having a hard time here. JYJ just barely finished that Charon booster upgrade. Really wanted to dive forward and kill that robo if possible, but just isn't able to get it done. Dropship denied here. There's so much on the field for Best now, who's getting close to max out, whereas we're only at 100 supply right now for JYJ. He does get it. Nice pick off on the shuttle. Should be able to gun down this Reaver. One more shot. It does get one more shot and one more kill. That's so rough. JYJ just not getting lucky here at all. Would have loved to deal some serious damage without losing those units there, but he's just not going to be able to. Should just target down this one, but he's going to lose one more tank. Another big shot here from this Reaver, killing off a few more SCVs. One more does go down, dropping to 44. Not even enough SCVs to actually saturate a third right now, so it's fine that he doesn't have one at the moment. I mean, it's not fine. It's it's really not fine, but it's fine. We're gonna be taking that third base here soon. Just again, the difficulty is going to be incredible. We need a lot of turrets here. We need like floating buildings. I would take this barracks here, float that right there. You need to get like your eBay, float that right there maybe. You know, even just anything. Science facility, float that out, screw it. You've got +2. You've already started +3. You don't really need the science facility much anymore. What do we have back at home now? Just more gateways being added on. Double upgrades, of course, rolling. Lots and lots of gateways here. He's going to max out. He is maxed out, excuse me. And he's probably going to hit flat on the face of this and maybe force JYJ out of this game. Here we go. Let's see. Can he just break through here and completely destroy JYJ? This is way too much army right now. And there's storms. Oh my god. Let's just remove the UI here and watch JYJ suffer through this final attack. Good snipe on that Templar there. It's just pure Dragoons now. But most of the tanks have been killed off. +2, not going to save JYJ in this case. Dragoons are falling. Zealot does get picked off. More Vultures rallying forward, but the last tank dies. And with that, all the tanks have been killed. There's the final storm. Just going to clear out these SCVs here. Does he have one more? No, he does not. But GG is called anyway. JYJ taps out. A nice little series here between these two players. It was a little bit unfortunate the way that JYJ got taken down in both these games. Having just a tiny hole, just a tiny little hole in his defense. He was so good in almost every way. But Best finds that little tiny hole and he sticks a crowbar in there and rips apart JYJ's defense. Last game it was the turrets. This game it was the tanks, just a little bit too close to that wall. And Best takes that lead. He snowballs it out of control and wins these games 2-0. Very well played by Best. And guys, that's it for this little mini series from the ladder. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.